Hi everyone, I'm Jackie and welcome to my channel, Cherished Memories Crochet. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this poncho and I'm really excited. This is the first poncho I've designed and it's basically made out of V-stitches. It's really simple to do. There's not a lot of counting to do and it's got a scalloped border and this would be great for a beginner crocheter. And the neckline's got a little puff stitch there. And I will, in the description box, I'll put a link to my short video so you can kind of see what it looks like a little bit better. And I used a 5.5 millimeter hook, and I made, in the V-stitch rows, a total of 24, but I'm only 5'1", so if you're any taller than me, you're going to want to add a little bit. And it's 24 inches in length and 31 inches wide. And we'll go ahead and get this out of the way and we'll get started. This is the yarn I used. I used about 2 3/4 of these. And here's the color that I use, Mandra. I think that's a 4-weight yarn. And we'll go ahead and get started. I'm just going to make a little sample. So the first thing you're going to want to do a chain, an even number of chains. I'm just going to do 40. And when you get it, your neckline as large as you want, and just keep this in mind as you crochet your poncho. It's going to pull your neckline a little bit and make it a little bit bigger because of the weight, which this isn't really too heavy. Okay, so when you go ahead and you do an even number of chains until you get your neckline as big as you want. I'm just doing 40. You're going to want to try not to get your chains twisted. And go to the very first one. And we're going to do a slip stitch. So now we're going to do a chain 1. And we're going to go right into that where we slip stitched, and we're going to do a single crochet. And you're just going to do a single crochet all the way around, just like that. And just continue that, and I'll meet you here at the end when I get all my single crochets in. Okay, I'm at the end of my row. I've got 40 single crochets. So however many chains you chained, you're going to have that many single crochets. In the poncho I did 92 chains for my neckline. Okay, so when you get your single crochets finished, you're going to slip stitch into that first one. Okay, so now this is row 2. Now we're going to make our first point. So we're going to chain 3. And we're going to go right back in that same space and do a double crochet. Now chain 2. And you're going to go right back in that same stitch and do 2 double crochets. So what you should have is a chain 3, which acts as our first double crochet, a chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. And now we're going to go ahead and do a double crochet in every stitch until you get into the middle or halfway to the halfway point. I did 40, so I did this point here, so now I'm going to do 19 double crochets. So I'll meet you here at the end when I have 19 double crochets. Okay, I just finished my 19 double crochets, and so far we've got our point, and just your next point will be at your halfway point. Like I did 40 chains, so this point here acts as my first, and then I'm going to do 19 double crochets. So that's a total of 20, which is half of my chain. So an example would be if you did 100 chains, after you do your point, you're going to want to do a total of 49 double crochets. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I've done my point, and then I've done my 19 double crochets. So now I should have 20 chains left. So now I'm going to go ahead and make my next point. So I'm going to do a double crochet. This would be my 21st chain. So there's a double crochet, and you're going to do another double crochet, and a chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. So now that's my second point. 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. So in the next 19 chains, I'm going to go ahead and do a double crochet in each one of those, and I'll meet you here at the end. Okay, I'm at the end. So I've got my 2 points, and I've got 19 double crochets in between the points. And so I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. We're going to slip stitch on top of that next double crochet and slip stitch into that point there. And now we're going to chain 3 and do another double crochet in the same space, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets in that same space. Okay, now we're going to skip this first double crochet, and in that second double crochet, we're going to do a V-stitch, which is a double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet in the same space, just like that. Now we're going to skip over this next double crochet and do a V-stitch in the next one. So you're going to do a double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet in that same space. So you're going to go ahead and continue that pattern to your the next corner here, next point. You're just going to do your V-stitch, skip 1, do a V-stitch, skip over this next double crochet, and the next one do a V-stitch. So every other stitch you're going to do a V-stitch, and continue that, and I'll meet you here at the second point. Okay, I'm at my second point. You should have 1 double crochet left over, and you're just going to skip over that, and you're going to go in to the point, and you're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. So now we have our second point. Now we're going to skip over that very first double crochet and go into the second one, and we're going to do our V-stitch, which is a double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet, all in the same stitch, just like that, and go ahead and continue that to the end of this side here, and I'll meet you there. Okay, I'm at the end of row 3. I just did my last V-stitch, and so there's 1 double crochet left over. We're just going to skip over that, and we're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3, slip stitch on top of the next double crochet, and you're going to go ahead and slip stitch into that point. Now we're going to chain 3. This is row 4, and we're going to do another double crochet, chain 2, and 2 more doubles, and that makes our point. Okay, so now we're going to do this just a little bit different in the beginning. Here's our 2 double, here in the previous row is our point. We did 2 double crochets, a chain 2, and 2 double crochets. So our first V-stitch in the beginning of row 4 and in the rest of the rows is we're going to go in between these 2 double crochets and make a V-stitch. Double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet. So we went in between these 2 double crochets that made the point in the previous row. So there's no chain 1 in between these 2 double crochets here. So now we're just going to skip over to the next V-stitch, which is your double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. And you're just going to do a V-stitch on top of every V-stitch right in that chain 1 space. Now we're going to jump over to this one. And you're just going to do this all the way across to your next point, and I'll meet you there. Okay, I'm to my next point, but I've still got one more V-stitch to do. And here's your 2 double crochets from your previous point right here. 1, 2, and then your chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. We're going to go right here in between those 2 double crochets for our last V-stitch on this side. Okay, so now we're at our point, and we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. Okay, so now we're ready to do our first V-stitch on this side, and here's your 2 double crochets that made the point in the previous row. We're just going to go ahead and go in between those and do a V-stitch. And now you're just going to do a V-stitch into every V-stitch across the row to the first point, and I'll meet you here. Okay, I'm at the end of row 4. I've still got to go in between these 2 double crochets for my last V-stitch. And you're just going to continue row 4 until you get your poncho as long as you want. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do the border here when I skip over here. So there's my last V-stitch, and you're just going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3, and on top of that next double crochet, and now onto your point. So go ahead and make your poncho as long as you want. I did a total of 24 rows for mine. So now you could do any border. You don't even really have to do a border, but in case you want to do the border, you're going to go in. Okay, we already slip stitched in here. So we're going to do a chain 1, and now we're going to do 3 single crochets into that point. And now these 2 double crochets here, there's no chain 1 in between them. We're going to do a single crochet on top of the first one and on the second one. And now we're into our V-stitches. What you're going to do is on top of the first double crochet that made your V-stitch, you're going to do a single crochet, and in the chain 1 space you're going to do a single crochet, and on top of that second double crochet that made your V-stitch, you're going to do a single crochet. And go ahead and continue that all the way to the next point. And when you get to the next point, you're not going to see, here's your 2 double crochets that made the point. You're not going to do a single crochet in between those. You're just going to go 1 single crochet on top of that one and 1 on top of this one, and then go ahead and do 3 single crochets in the corner and continue that until you get to the end of the row, and I'll meet you here. Okay, I'm at the end of my row, and now I'm going to slip stitch to the top of that first single crochet we did. And in the second single crochet, we're going to slip stitch in that. And now we're going to do a chain 3 that acts as your first double crochet, and then go right back in that space and do, whoops, for a total of 7 double crochets. So there's 3, and 7. And you can do, if you don't want to do 7 double crochets, you want to do 5, that's fine. You can even do just 3 if you want. Okay, so now we're going to skip 1, 2, 3 in that third chain. We're going to do a single crochet. And now we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And in the third one, we're going to do the same amount. Oops. And 7. And I'm going to skip 2, and in that third single crochet on top of it, I'm going to do another single crochet. And just continue that until you get to your next point, and then you should do your next 6, or well, 7, right in the middle. You got your 1, 2, 3 single crochets in that point. You're going to do your cluster of however many you want to do. I did 7 right in that middle one there. And go ahead and continue that all the way around to the beginning of the row. And you can also, if you don't want to skip 3, you can go ahead and just skip 2. And if you do that, you're going to come out even here at the end. But if you do 3 like me, because I didn't want it as bulky, you're not going to have enough single crochets here in the previous row. So the last one, you're just going to have to skip, how many did I skip? 1 or 2 instead of the 3, and it will work out until you get to here to the middle one, and then go ahead and do the same. If you skipped 1 or 2 here, do the same here, and then go ahead and start skipping your 3 until you get to the end here. I hope that made sense. And go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you here at the end. Okay, I'm going to show you, I'm at my second point, how if you skip 3 up here to get less bulkiness, I'm going to show you how to do it. Here's a single crochet, and I just skipped 2. You'll see there's 1 single crochet, and in the second one I did my 7 double crochets, and then I'm going to go ahead and skip 1 and 2, and in that second one I'm going to do my single crochet, and I'm going to skip 1, and in the second one I'm right in that middle one there in the single crochet in the point, and I'm going to go ahead and do my 7 double crochets there. So that's how you get it to work out. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same here. When I get my 7 doubles, I'm just going to skip 1 single crochet and do my single crochet here in the second one, and skip 1 single crochet here, and then do my 7 double crochets there. Then I will continue as I did in the beginning, where I skipped 3 to the very end. And I'll meet you there. Okay, I've completed my row of my border, and when you get to the end, you're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 and fasten off. And now we're going to do the neck. Go ahead and attach your yarn in any of these chain spaces of the neckline, and then we're going to go ahead and chain 1, go right back in that same space, do a single crochet, and in the next chain space here, sometimes it's kind of hard to see where they're at, and go ahead and do a single crochet in every chain space until you get right here to the point, and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, I'm to my first point, and here's your row of single crochets, the first row we did, and here's that first point. We're going to go into that first point and do our puff stitch. And how you do that, you're going to yarn over, and you're going to insert your hook into that point, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then you're going to pull them up like this. Make them even. So that's 1. Now we're going to yarn over, insert your hook back into that point, yarn over, pull up another loop. That's 2, 3, 4, and 1 more, and 5. And make sure they're all pulled up the same length. Now you're going to yarn over, and you're going to go through all those. Just like that. Now you're going to chain one to lock it in place. And now you're going to go over here to your first chain after this and do a single crochet. And just continue doing single crochets in those chain spaces until you get to your next point, and I'll see you there. Okay, I'm to my second point. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook there in the first point we did. I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop. That's one. Yarn over, pull up a loop. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And make sure they're all the same length. Now yarn over, go through all of them, chain one to lock it in place, and then go ahead and continue to do your single crochets all the way to the end of the row, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. I'm at the end of my row, so I'm just going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet we did. Chain one, pull your yarn tight, fasten off, and now you should have your full-size poncho. I've just got a little bitty poncho here. Let's see. So that's what it should look like, only yours will be bigger. And I hope you enjoyed my video, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so you don't miss any of my future videos, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.